Build from a very small angle, but be consistent and enjoy it while at it. Strategy is a very key word. Strategy and is me being able to use my 10 shillings better than you use your 100 shillings. So you can give two people the same resources, but ultimately, this one who even has less can produce better results. The best way to build an organization, the best strategy, is to get the most willing people to learn together.
Good evening and welcome to the Late Night Business. My name is Ian Dennis. It's quite an exciting episode that we have lined up tonight because I'm going to be having a conversation with a gentleman who's a jack and a master of so many different trades, just like I am. So I'm quite interested to have this particular conversation. But before I get to introduce my guest, I'd like to let you know that you're here at the Capital Club, the place you need to be as an entrepreneur, because at the Capital Club, you have a particular wide array of network just by being a part of this particular member. And besides that, there's so many different particular amenities that you can actually get to enjoy being a part of the Capital Club. The gentleman I'm about to have a conversation with is Elijah Gitui, who's an MBA graduate from the University of Wales. He's an entrepreneur, he's a consultant, he's so many different things, and you're going to be learning about his particular journey and his entrepreneurship journey, and also just get to gather so many different lessons from his journey. Elijah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you
nice
very much.
to see you.
Nice to see you too.
The first question I like starting every particular conversation, it's just all through. I'm very boring that way. What exactly are you most grateful for today?
Today I'm very grateful that I'm about to learn, and I keep learning every day. And I'm grateful again for life. It's not every day that it's granted for you. So every day we appreciate it as it comes. Yeah, and to meet new people. I enjoy networking, so
Yeah.
to meet you guys here and the team.
Yeah, it's a big team behind you. I think
yeah.
you're just enjoying a conversation behind the scenes before
Yes.
this conversation.
Yes.
As I was joking earlier, you're the first graduate from Baraton I've ever met.
By the way,
I thought graduate
By the
Baraton
way-
was a fan. They are graduates from Baraton.
do you know how Baraton is respected globally? At some point we
Make
ranked,
me know.
at some point we ranked very highly. It's the first university that the former President Moi granted a charter because of the reputation the Adventist universities had in the UK, Oakwood, Loma Linda, and those were the founders of Baraton. So they set it up with very, very high standards.
Interesting. See,
In
now
fact, for
ignorance.
a very long time, the Baraton nurses, automotive engineers, I mean, they were sought all over globally. So if you go,
Yeah.
Baraton graduates are in Australia, UK, they're all over the world.
She said I never make them locally.
Yeah.
So it's even one of you.
Yes,
you
because
went
they're,
to the
all
UK.
over, they're all over the world.
I need to travel more.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what did you study at Baraton? And
At Baraton, I did a management course, BBA management. Yeah, and while at Baraton, I had a chance to be the president of the entrepreneurship club. It was called Bisman Club.
yeah.
And then student president.
Eish.
So it's,
So you're
it's
a
a place I
politician.
hold dear to.
So nisiongea mbaya kabisa.
Usiongee mbaya, tulia.
Interesting. And you've mentioned that you're also part of the entrepreneurship club, so meaning that all through your life you've always had a bug for entrepreneurship. So maybe we can rewind back in terms of maybe any particular fond memories you had of you exploring or rather exploiting entrepreneurship from an early age.
Yeah, from an early age, I think if I go to high school, I had a way of getting bread from the bakery. And I was,
Baraton High School?
No, high school. It was somewhere different. And in Baraton
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
I used to sell airtime. So I'll come with a lot of airtime.
Oh, it was the days for the scratch
Yes,
cards.
for the scratch cards.
Uh-huh.
So I'll go with maybe worth 20, 30K and I'll sell. And in each card I used to make, I think, 10 bob.
Yeah.
And then I also had a fryer for making fries. And
That's
then
all in
toast.
university?
Yes. So when I became the president of the Bisman Club,
Yeah.
so students in business school,
Yeah.
we had a club called Bisman. So I spoke to the administration and we were able to allow the students every weekend to set up either a car wash. So we were, encouraging entrepreneurship at uni level. And at some point, Ian, I did participate in a contest from La Sierra University, and I think I won about $18,000.
Wow.
and I did start a chicken farm. So the VC was kind enough to give me an acre within the school, and I did rearing of chicken.
Wow, so you did quite a lot
In
while
uni,
university.
yes, yeah.
Interesting.
I wasn't broke in uni.
And plus you are the president.
Yeah, I was the president.
So just like our president right now, you sold chicken and you were still at the helm.
I had a salary, although...
Yes. Oh, as the president you had a salary?
Yes.
Uh-huh. How much was it?
I think I was paid 13,000. Then the rest was 7, 8K. But that was a lot of money again.
Yes.
So I did start something called Somesha Fund because we had a lot of needy students. So that money will go to a pot. I never used it. And then the needy student will start entrepreneurship stuff, and I will talk to the uni to buy. So there are those who will bring pineapples. We fund them, and then they get some fee from that arrangement. Yeah.
All right.
I tried to get Somesha Fund mainstream to the uni, but it didn't go well. But until today, even today, we do fundraise now and again for needy students and get them to either start a business or pay their fee.
Interesting. This entrepreneurship bag, was it from mom or dad? What exactly were your parents doing?
In fact, zero. My dad is an engineer. Doesn't enjoy business at all. Yeah,
engineers are like straightforward.
Straightforward. He's a civil engineer. But a lot of people think he's a pastor.
Why?
So if you...
Suti,
but also enjoys building churches, community schools. So if you ask people within the community, they'll tell you either he's a pastor or an evangelist. They don't understand him as a civil engineer. So he has no business born in him. In fact, I think he will be a very good businessman because you find he has a lot of networks in the US, UK, people who use him to buy for them land, many, or build for them apartments, but he doesn't charge them. He does it as a service. But I think if he was a businessman, he'd be much better than me.
Interesting. Yeah, I know probably even the era of our parents, they were very straight through the narrow, do things the right way.
And to him, life is not about making money. I feel like if I gave him 1,000 bob, I think when I was in the UK, I came to visit him, brought him shirts, new ones, and he knows who needs it more than him. And he'll call him and give it. He doesn't understand that you don't give gifts away. So he's not someone you can impress with
things,
making money. No, he's very different in that way.
And what about mom?
Similar to dad. I think they met each other.
In church?
Yeah, they don't enjoy business. In fact, when I try business now and again, he tries to say, hey, you know,
follow a career
but I'm
path.
different.
Everybody's
different.
Interesting. So after your stint at Baraton, I mean, you told me you went to the UK.
I went to the UK.
How did you end up in the UK, and how exactly was your experience in the UK?
So I always knew I wanted to do a master's. I didn't think a degree was enough, so I looked around Canada and other places. My dad had been to the US for his master's, and he didn't value US that much, so he has reservations. So I did go to the UK instead, and I did my master's, University of Wales, MBA Strategic Management.
So you did it immediately after your stint in university?
Yes. Yeah.
How was the experience in the UK? You're telling me how it was so cold and how life is. It was so expensive.
Yes. In fact, the first day I landed in the UK was the coldest day in, I think, their 30 years. I think that was February 16, 2008, something. It's a very, very cold day. And I thought, what have I gotten myself into? But I ended up enjoying it. UK is not like US. You have to go to class. And then you have maybe 20 hours a week to work. And they are strict about it. But of course, being Kenyans,
you have to find a way through it.
We try to do 40. But so there were these menial jobs here and there while you are a student. So I was able to work in schools. I did work in a special needs school and volunteer at Prior Scott School, worked with autistic kids. I had never seen autistic kids before I left.
It's so difficult.
So when I saw them, every time I went shopping, I would see special needs persons. And I got an interest. So I did apply and I did work with them in my free time. And I really did enjoy. In fact, when I came back, I'll tell you later maybe,
Yeah.
I did open a special needs school in Kenya.
Interesting. Let me just get to that because I think you've already highlighted it quite a number of times in terms of
Yeah.
seeing your dad also being one who gives to the society, what's it called, your experience within the university, of also trying to give back to the students who could not be able to pay your fees. How important is it for an entrepreneur, any person in a point of, let's say, what's it called, privilege to give back? How exactly has it been for you and why do you keep doing it?
I think I watched my dad closely growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we will go to church and my mom will serve him food and tell me, give your dad, because we are Adventist and sometimes we carry food to church because then we share
food. Yes,
we share a meal during lunch. So
how does it work, by the way? I'm always told I have a few friends also Adventist. You go, everybody
every family come.
So someone carries
food.
ugali, someone carries chapo.
Yes,
all come so you can eat everything.
It's a potluck.
Nisinia.
Yes, we put it together and we share. But from a very early age, I will notice every time I passed my dad a plate, he knew who needed it most than him.
Right.
So he'll call someone and give him. Then your mom will be like, take for him another one.
Yeah.
Then he'll give someone. So from a very early age, I noticed this is a man who really gives and gives.
That's interesting.
Sometimes he will go without because there were too many people who needed it more than him.
Yeah.
It was very hard to get him to eat finally. He had to make sure everyone had a plate.
Yeah.
So I think that stuck with me.
Interesting. And how did you end up starting up special needs school?
So in UK, I do work with the Prescott School. It's one of the best special needs schools.
Yeah.
And I kept wondering, do we have special needs kids in Africa or in Kenya? Because in the UK, you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
They're integrated in society. They are valued. The government funds them and supports them. But you wonder, back at home, are they there? I had never seen one. So I said, when I get back, I would like to interact with that community. And I noticed there are quite many. They're just not well embraced within the structures of our society.
So it's primarily autistic kids?
Cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. There's so many of these conditions. It's just that it's almost like they exist in another world. So, but I know now there are a lot of people doing a lot of sensitization to bring that to the fore.
Interesting, because I think I've also seen that and also experienced it because I'm also a part of a school, and I think I've also seen that it's such a challenge because I've interacted with them and it's not as easy. So I couldn't do it. I think I was just emphasizing on it because I always, still just as you, I believe in the power of just giving back to the society.
Yeah.
Back to business. You're also a consultant, right? And you run strategic, precision, and research consultant limited, right?
Yeah.
And you consult around the areas of strategy, and you're also a management consultant.
Yeah.
And just by checking out your bio, you've worked with many different organizations, both local and international.
Yeah.
From your experience, having been at this particular consultant, what do you think the big or maybe the organization that are actually successful are doing right that some of this particular small organization are not doing right?
I think I'll tell you something maybe you could add as a chapter to your book because I know you publish.
Yes.
At the very end of it, you can do a footnote. For me, what I've noticed in many different organizations in Europe and in Africa, and I've spent some time in Asia too, for me, strategy is a very key word. What is strategy? Strategy is me being able to use my 10 shillings better than you use your 100 shillings. So you can give two people the same resources, but ultimately, this one who even has less can produce better results. For instance, I'm a farmer and I see someone with an eighth doing much more than someone with 20 acres. It is strategy. So strategy is how you utilize your resources better than your competition. So resources being money, being time, being human resource. How do you put these ingredients together to outshine or outperform your competitor next door?
Interesting. And how can one get to that particular point in life? Because I know there are so many different influences. When as you mentioned, strategies is primarily the best use of particular resources, time, resources, money. How can one get to what's it called Or what exactly are some of the prerequisites to ensure that you get it quite right? Because I think also strategy is also based on circumstances. So how best can you be able to get it right? Because I think most people say, oh, I have this strategy, but how can you ensure that this particular strategy is best fit for who I am or what exactly it is I'm doing?
I think an organization starts and is built and is edified by the people. The people element in any organization is so critical, and that is why the process of recruitment must be it's just like a government. I think we recruit politicians through our votes, and we don't do a very good job at it.
Unfortunately, and you're seeing that right now.
Yes.
You don't have to mention names.
Yes, so in business it's the same. When hiring, when recruiting, it's that point that you're either building your organization or you are letting it down. And the building is not getting the smartest people in the room. Sometimes you have teams where it's just Ronaldos. They'll never score. Okay?
Yeah.
But the idea of building a team is not about getting A students, all of them.
Yeah.
I feel like that will be the most unstructured, most organization. I think you get average people with a willing heart to learn, to listen, to share, to execute, the easiest way to know an organization that's doing that very well, you will hear a lot of we as opposed to I.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
So teams that have a lot of I are not teams that do well. You find that people are in positions like KQ, Mumias, you hear a lot of I,
CEO,
but it's a lot of PR. So when they exit the scene, you find that they crumble because the base was a false base. So the best way to build an organization, the best strategy, is to get the most willing people to learn together.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think you have put it, is that people are actually at the base of any particular strategy.
Yes.
And I know recruitment is a part of any particular business. So maybe let me just put it out to you. At what time, let's say you're starting any particular enterprise, at what point should one get to hire a team? And in hiring a team, what should one look out for?
I think when hiring a team, you need to be very cognizant of the fact that what are you intending for them to achieve, all right? Don't hire Njuguna to rear a pig, then to ride a matatu, then to... So you need to have a specific goal and objective. What are they coming to achieve for the organization? But then you also look for these soft skills. And that's why, Ian, in today's business or entrepreneurship market, women are doing much better than men.
True, yeah.
Because men are very A students or engineer or this, but then they have not inculcated in them the spirit of teamwork, communication skills has become so crucial.
Yeah.
I mean, someone can be very average but very good communicator.
Yeah.
And look at Trevor Noah. Why is he in the US? He's just a very brilliant communicator.
Yeah.
You know, communication takes you places where it elevates you. So men as much as women need to really focus on improving their communication skills because this is a building block. So as a recruiter, a lot of recruiters now, especially international organizations, they are not keen on your papers. In fact, all the jobs I got in the UK, they never once asked me for my degree certificate.
Yeah.
They actually interview you, give you case scenarios. How will you handle this? How will you handle this? They check your people skills. They check your, you know, we in Africa are still very intrigued by papers. We have a lot of professors in engineering who can't change a light bulb.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So the UK market
professors
is...
of business, professors of entrepreneurship,
yes,
have never opened a kiosk.
They've never opened a kiosk. They teach textbook theories.
Yeah, I know that.
You know?
Yeah.
But what do they do in the US? You get someone who's a professor at Harvard, he's never had that, a basic bachelor degree.
Yeah.
Because they value so much
Practical.
experience.
True, and I've actually been seeing
Yes.
that, yes.
So they've given us a false narrative in Africa. We are chasing papers to nowhere.
Or that we're chasing the wrong paper.
We are chasing, yeah. So we end up with a lot of educated, I won't use the word people use, but a lot of educated busybodies.
Oh, educated fools.
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, another thing that you deal with more so in aspect of consultants is the aspect of leadership, which is something that I'm always very passionate about. Because I've seen leadership at its worst. What exactly is core to any particular leader? Because as an entrepreneur, the leader of that particular organization, what's core for any particular leader to ensure that any organization that they're in charge of becomes successful?
There's an analogy given that a good leader is like an orchestra band leader. Okay? You have to turn your back to the crowd.
Yeah.
But a lot of us want the political leadership where
the crowd,
I and I. So goes back to that selfish, egocentric I. It's a dangerous thing to have as a leader. An ego and the I, and that's why I keep saying women don't have egos, and that's why they are becoming even better leaders again. So our men also need to spruce up on some of these qualities, because a good leader, you have to be able to listen to every voice in the room.
True.
Good and bad.
True.
That takes patience. It takes humility. It takes you to eat last. You know, my father ate last, but that meant to me, that was leadership.
Yeah.
But you see what is happening to today leader, they eat fast.
Yes.
And the poor actually get nothing at the end of the day.
And the poor's
So
fast.
if we actually inculcated some of these business principles even in our politics, we will end up with better leaders. That's why if you find, like in America and Europe, most of their political class comes from their business class.
True.
So Trump is as I would say whatever you may, but he's a businessman.
True.
Some of these people climb the ladder from the business angle. In Europe, even more pronounced. You know, all these people, like Cameron, Boris, these are all business people or are professional in a particular trade. They're not career politicians.
Interesting.
So they are then able to make laws that resemble the community they seek to serve.
Wow, interesting. And on that particular note, we're going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll be back and exploring so many different particular aspects.
We, as humans, we are created to interact with so much. Every day you have so much stimuli. And over time, there are things that become your passion that then translate to business.
Yeah.
So for me, I never ask anyone to start a business to make money. I think if you ever start a business to make money, you are in the wrong business. Always do your life, let a business find you. Let it grow organically and naturally. You enjoy a farm life, and from then you see how to create a business out of the farm life. I started a magazine called the Education Network, but I never looked to make money out of it. I saw it as a platform where, because I value education, I value food, I value health, So usually my business emanate from one of these things that are already very passionate to me. So you find that over time, one thing that you're very passionate about extrapolates into a business. But initially, you did not sit down and say, in fact, I never write a business plan. I know this goes against every school of thought.
No, this is a white man's narrative.
Yeah.
Like a plan comes into place when in action. The plan.
Yes.
Yes.
It's all you write this.
Yeah.
Anytime you write a business plan, you will never start that business. It becomes
True,
very
true.
daunting.
True.
Becomes very. So a lot of people have so many business ideas here, but they are so scared by their own ideas because they've been told, write down, do a budget. You
Yeah.
look at it, you
Make a
look at your
forecast.
account,
Yeah.
you scatter.
Yeah.
So you die with all these ideas under your bed, scared to even start one. So if anyone is listening to me today, start. There's something you enjoy doing.
True.
There's something you enjoy watching. Instead of forever being on the other side watching, try doing what you're passionate about.
Interesting.
Don't look at the money you'll make out of it. Look at the lessons you'll learn. And I assure you, when you do that, the money follows you.
Interesting. And given that particular perspective, because I think we hold so much together, so you've this idea, what's it called? You want to exploit. What are some of the fundamental principles that you put into place? Because I think there's always a particular map or a canvas that you already followed and you apply through the businesses that you build. What is that canvas for you?
So for me, number one, I have to really enjoy that particular thing. Passionate, natural. I must have been doing it without noticing over time. You know, for instance, the education magazine or the farming or the restaurants, I eat out a lot. Like in London, when I was in London, I tried almost every restaurant.
Oh, you enjoy eating?
I'm a foodie.
You're a foodie?
Yes. I came to Kenya, I don't know, mention any restaurant that you like. I'll tell you if I've been there. I enjoy eating out. So then naturally, over time, you're like, you know what? What if I had my own restaurant?
Yeah.
Because I've picked this lesson from here, this lesson from here. And then you set up something that is within your budget then. But it emanates from something you already love very much. So for farming, I enjoy food again. You can see how these things are all related.
Where there's food,
So
there's
they
you.
look, they look very diverse.
You're the prophet of food, Elijah.
Yes. The one who brought rain so people could farm.
Yes.
Yeah. So once you're passionate about something, you then over time notice, hey, what angle in this passion can be a business? And then you start small. I know a lot of people will give you books written, think big. Again, I go against this.
The power of your thinking.
Oh, 10 steps to be a millionaire.
Positive
These
thinking.
things have buried so many people into a life of misery and depression because they never think about the small ant. They don't want to think small because they've been told think big. But I'm telling you today, think small. The smaller, the better. Because that mustard seed, nothing falls big. And in fact, anytime something big falls, it crashes. Okay? Build from a very small angle, but be consistent and enjoy it while at it. So if you do a business that you really enjoy, you don't even see it as a job. You enjoying it. Okay? Maybe you enjoy reading books. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she loves coffees and books. She's like, oh, I'm not enjoying my job. I told her, there are so many books in town, and those books are being sold 100, 200. Open a page, because I see you posting coffee and a book every day. Open a page and post a book per day. Sell it at 500 with your coffee, because I see the interaction on your page is very high. You will sell 5 of those books in a day, but it won't look like
a lot,
a lot to you, because that's what you do for free. You know, so a good business is that which you do for free every other day.
Interesting. And so you've mentioned the first thing is having that particular passion. So from your experience, how do you now convert passion into a business? What's that particular process in terms of the initial aspects that you should put into place to convert from a passion into now a business?
So number one, you then notice who you are, what's your personality, what augurs well with your personality. You love kids. Every time you go to a party, kids are drawn to you. You are the auntie everyone drops kids for. You go to church, kids are milling around you. Heck, that's a business. Either start a kindergarten or start selling kids' toys. And start within the community around you, your sisters, your cousins. They already know you love kids, so you already interact and run a page. And because you make it as natural as possible. Don't enjoy kids and you're trying to sell for us cigarettes. You know? Those two things, you will really struggle selling the beer and the cigarettes. Because it's not you. But when you do something, let's say you are a romantic, you enjoy flowers. Okay? You go to you in every event you're the one being told ukumbuke flowers. Already that tells you people associate you with
you're the flower girl.
And I tell you, the people around you, 5 to 10 closest people to you, can tell you what you can be really good at.
Interesting.
Don't read a book to tell you, because it will send you.
And the book is written by someone in a different.
It will send you to El Dorado looking for gold that you'll never find. The best business, the 5 closest people to you, can actually sit down and tell you, you're very good at this, at this, at this. Then you, with your wisdom now, you can see how can this be transformed into a business as natural as possible. But of course, when now you make it a business, of course you're now doing accounting, bookkeeping, the marketing angle of it. But it's easier for you to do all these things because it's what you've been doing.
Interesting. There's also that, what's it called? An opposing narrative. You can never eat your passion. That's also a narrative that people actually put out there. You can never eat your passion. And sometimes it actually makes a lot of sense. Probably you may be passionate about something that it's literally looked at probably just giving back to the community. It's literally, you like giving back to the community. You can never eat from giving back. How do you counter that particular narrative?
I think it's a false narrative. Your passion can feed you and should be able to feed you. If you enjoy giving back to the community, start a social enterprise. Get all these NGOs that work with social enterprise. Get unique. Like, for instance, I run an NGO called Ubuntu Green Africa, where I am trying to talk about the environment, planting trees. And underneath it, there's a project I'm trying to set up called Trees for Bees. So when I'm harvesting basil, I have about 40 women at any time during harvest peak season.
What's basil?
Basil is a herb. That on pizza you'll see basil. It's a leaf, but it's used more in Europe. But now, after the peak season is over, they have nothing to do. So what I've done under Ubuntu Green Africa, I'm trying to set up a project called Trees for Bees. Okay? Because these women have land, they are Maasai women, but they don't know what to do with it. So they've been cutting down trees to make and buy Nescafe. We have minerals in Congo, we sell in raw form, comes back. Nigeria has one of the best jet fuels in the world. They don't process it, it goes and. So the narrative in Africa has to change. We cannot be net importers forever. I was in India, and I've shared this before. An Indian, before they can import anything, my brother, it's very hard.
Yeah.
In fact, even Western Union does not allow them to send money outside. It's very hard. You cannot Western Union money out of India. It's one of the most, because they expect you. Even when I was there, I noticed that politicians have to wear Indian, speak Indian,
And speaking
drive
about-
Indian.
Which is
So what they are
different from
doing,
us, yes.
it's very different
Because
from
I saw
us.
the parliament the other day telling guys you have to wear a suit, you cannot wear African.
That
I'm like,
was
it's so Western.
outrageous.
Yes, it
What
is.
are you doing to the tailor mama down the road?
Yeah.
This African mentality
Yeah.
is really, and I speak this with a lot of humility.
Yeah.
It's not to point fingers at anyone else. Until we embrace our own, what we can produce, whether it's content, music, whether it's art, whether it's theater. Our theater, before you watch Hollywood, go down
Yeah.
Kenya cinema, watch. Lupita came from here. So we have more Lupitas, but because we don't watch them, we don't grow them. We have footballers here who are so good,
True,
but we don't watch and we don't invest in them.
True.
So our appetite for everything foreign has ensured that collectively our IQ is below the sea level. We are not able to grow any industry because we want Italian suits, Italian pizza,
Yeah, Italian
German
shoes.
cars,
Yeah.
American accents,
Yeah.
you know. Then we collectively contribute to each other's poverty.
We are two Westerners.
We are too Western. But you go to Nigeria, the fashion industry is a $1 billion industry.
Even the
Because out
movie.
of 10 people you see, 8 will be in their African attire.
True.
Then the speaker here is telling us we wear suits. You know, in fact, it should have been the reverse.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to sponsor a bill through. I vied for MP last election.
What happened?
I was number 2.
Uh-huh.
But
Where did you
that's
buy?
everyone says waliibiwa na kiukweli kiliibiwa.
It's a localized narrative.
Mine is true. Every village I will tell you, but that's a story for another day. I was vying in Dagoretti North here in Nairobi.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But your
and
ambition went south.
I was very big on entrepreneurship. Yes, I have a group of guys. We make leather shoes down in Kawangware. Some women we
You have done
package.
everything.
We package honey and flour and peanut. I'm very big on entrepreneurship, and I believe, Ian, that's the only way out of poverty for Africa.
True. That I agree.
You know,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, sports, music, art. So the more we start consuming these things locally, the better, because then we are not depending on aid or imports. Yeah. So for me now, I beg to digress.
I know.
You
It's
see
fine.
why I went that way
I know,
before I answered
Yes.
you. So I grow a lot of herbs. I have basil, chives, oregano, and they have a demand in Italy especially and the rest of Europe. And before that, I've tried so many things. I've done laying eggs. I've done strawberries. I've done... Farming is not for the faint-hearted. You keep falling and rising. But when I landed on this, I think I'm now in my plateau. It's still a learning curve, but looks much better they have brokers who already have global gap, who buy from you and then resell. Of course, they'll
get a
make more
markup.
than you.
Yeah,
They
of
have
course.
the markup. But now for me, I'm at a level now, I'm just about to get my global gap and start exporting myself. But I also want to spend a lot of time nurturing younger farmers on the process and treating a little better than the brokers treated me. Because once you learn, you don't do the same thing.
You don't go through the brokers.
They do it for you.
Yeah.
You actually be a little kinder to the one coming behind you and teach them the ropes.
Interesting.
So I would like to invest time and energy in that.
Interesting. My goodness, I feel like time has literally flown into like 40 minutes. I think we'll do another part 2. But before we just get to wind up, you've had such an extensive experience in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of leadership, consulting. You're all-rounded. From your experience and from where now you sit, because you mentioned you're just turning 40 right now.
Yeah.
You've done this, looking back and they say 40 is where life starts, but where life was, or rather how life has been for you, what are some of the greatest lessons that you can say that have actually propelled you to be where you are?
Ian, I live my life on my sleeves. I'm a go-getter. I never want to regret not trying something. As I said earlier, a lot of people are buried by indecision. Do it wrong, but do it. All right? So for me, my mantra is, I love Nike's mantra, just do it. Okay? Whatever is it that you're thinking about, start. And the best lessons in life don't come from textbooks. They come from the journey of life. The people who've fallen with a thunderous fall rise up with a thunderous clap. So don't fear to fall. Fall again, fall again. If you're patient enough with yourself, with every fall is a learning curve, and you become a much better teacher if you ever fail. If you get these kids who get A's in life, a small wind, and they are pushed off, and they are depressed, and you actually bury them. But people who've been through, those of you who read the good book, the people God prepared to use, they actually were literally shoved into the wilderness.
True.
Because no one can serve without a lesson in humility, without a lesson in not having anything, without a lesson in failure. Just go through everybody.
Yeah, everybody. Yes.
So don't try to be perfect, because you're trying to write a story that has never been written. Just be yourself. Choose wisely what it is that you're passionate about. Learn from others around you, and make life simple. Do it simple. Do it small. It will become big. Don't be light to do it big. You will be paralyzed by inaction.
Interesting. And I think from this conversation, one of the things I've gotten out is a title to the next book, The Small Land. I think you need to work on it.
Yeah. Maybe we can co-author.
Yes, you can co-author The Small Land, because I think it's such an interesting concept. Like, it's really about the small land. Maybe it makes a lot of sense. I think we'll have a particular episode too. This conversation will be so interesting just because of time. So I'll end up with, I have like 10 quick fire questions. So whatever comes to your mind, at least now we can relax a bit. I think it's been so much wisdom. If we continue past this, people will blow their head. What's the greatest risk you've ever taken?
Wow, the politics. The politics.
Maybe just expound on it. What made you vie?
You see, we've grown up with a very idealistic mindset. Or we want to change the world. Remember, I was a student president.
Yeah, the future of
I
tomorrow.
wanted the needy kids to have fees, and I have this mindset that there's enough for everyone's need, not enough for everyone's greed. So I went in with a very sober mindset. I knew it was an uphill task, but my brother, people did actually listen to me. People actually did give me a lot of votes.
How many votes did you get?
I was number 2. That story, that's what I'm telling you, it's a story for another day. When my agents go there at 4 a.m., all ballot boxes were full. There's nothing I could do. Either I ran to court, but I'm not a politician. I'm a leader. I live to lead in a different direction. Maybe now I'm no longer interested in politics, because I realize to actually make headway there, you need to be a certain mindset, which I'm not willing to, you know? So you either go down, like Michelle Obama says, when they go down, we go up. So you either choose her model, or you choose to go down with them like the pig, and you all get dirty. I don't think I'm willing to.
You want to become an MP?
No, no.
We'll talk about it next time. What's your favorite month?
February.
Describe your style in one word.
Eclectic.
What time do you usually go to bed at night?
Hey, that one, I'm all over, scattered.
What's been your favorite age so far?
My favorite?
Age so far?
My 33, the age Jesus died around there.
But you're still alive.
That was a good age.
Uh-huh.
But I love 42.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's really, I'm coming to myself. I'm owning, you know, when you get to a place, you own everything.
Yeah.
Your mistakes, your bank account balance, you own your style.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you're trying to fit
Avoid
in.
it.
But now,
Yeah.
I'm at an age where I'm good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's your hidden talent?
My hidden talent, I think that's a tricky one.
Eating.
Hidden talent. Maybe I love food. I don't know if food is, yeah.
All right. Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Are you more of a thinker or a doer?
A doer. I think later. And that's a problem.
What scares you?
The inaction, not to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking of publishing books forever.
No,
It's now that I want to. That inaction really scares me.
Mm-hmm.
The procrastination. Yeah. I train a lot about it, but I'm not good at it.
Interesting. Then what's one of your nicknames?
People call me Le President.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll be. And a lot of people have said maybe one day I'll be the president.
Uh-huh.
So, Le President.
As always, we're coming to you from the Capital Club, the place you need to be as an entrepreneur, because at the Capital Club, we have a wide array of amenities. As you can actually see, we have in one of those particular meeting rooms, there's there's a restaurant here, there's a gym here, there are training rooms, there's so much you can actually have. You can spend your day, even your weeks or months, just within this particular confinement of the Capital Club. As always, my name is Ian Dennis, and until next time, I'll see you right here on The Late Night Business.